This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
You don't have to cry for me to prove your love. Ain't got a wall fire keep me burning up. Ain't gotta climb no mountain top. No, you don't, no, you don't, no, you don't, no, you don't. Honey, be true. Honey, be true to me.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, I think we've established this time and time again. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, August the 13th of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big.
Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends and colleagues at Radio Big, so there you go. Anyways, how has the last 24 hours or so been for you? Because, hey, that's kind of probably been the last time that you and I got to hang out together, so no doubt about there. So there you go. So let's talk about what the hell we do around here. Our show consists of safety in the news, news, and safety. So here's what's going to happen. Over the next hour, we will be talking about music. No, we won't. Well, that's not during the first hour. During the first hour, we'll be talking about safety in the news, news and safety. During hour 2 and 3, we'll be talking about music and entertainment, but that's normally just exclusively to radiobig.fm. During the first hour, we do this as a radio show that goes into a podcasting network, that goes into a video aspect. So there's a little combination about everything there. So just a little FYI there. That's kind of how we do it during hour 1. If you want to interact with the show, call in radio.com. We'll get you moving and grooving. That's kind of the way that we go about and do our thing. Simple process on doing so. You just go in there, boom. It gives me a prompt on the screen. You have 3 options: audio, video, or text messaging. Once you do that, boom, I get an alert on the screen, and then I kind of know where to go. Most of the times I don't talk about it on the air. Yeah, that's just kind of, that's how we do it. And then go from there. I do have some friends from Feature Story News that come in and start talking about what the hell's going on inside of the world. And the reason that we do it in that aspect is because we want to have some options of talking about some different things. Because I will tell you, the worst thing you can do is go into a safety meeting and start talking about safety 5 seconds in. If you want to lose them quick, it's kind of one of those weird things to do. Because if you don't start talking about some other stuff that's relatable, you're going to lose them. That's kind of the way that it goes. I'm just telling you. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's go ahead and get our friends from Feature Story News lined up. Let them get rolling in regards of what the hell is going on, because I think this is going to be important.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. 2 major grain export terminals have reportedly been hit in a Ukrainian strike. The country's president says it's conducted a unique attack on a Russian Black Sea base. According to local officials, 3 people, including an 8-year-old, were killed. Ukraine says 4 Russian warships were hit. US President Donald Trump's announced that the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt will step down at the end of August to spend more time with her 2 children. The 28-year-old, who made history as the youngest person ever to hold the role, confirmed the decision in a social media statement, saying she felt she could not devote the time the job required while being the mother she wanted to be. President Trump said Leavitt would become one of his top outside advisors and play a prominent part in the Republican effort to win November's midterm elections. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
He said that Caroline Leavitt would be departing her role at the end of the month, saying that she wants to spend more time with her children and family. The president added that it was a decision he totally understood and respected. He said that she had been one of the best White House press secretaries in the history of the office, and went on to say that she would now become one of his top outside advisors and an influential voice within the Republican Party.
Jury selection's begun in a landmark federal trial in Oakland, California, in which 4 US states are seeking to prove that Meta deliberately designed Facebook and Instagram to be addictive for children and teens. The states California, Colorado, Kentucky and New Jersey are the first of 29 to go to trial in a case that could set a precedent for thousands of similar lawsuits across the country. Meta has strongly denied the allegations. Ira Spitzer reports from San Francisco.
The states say that Meta designed Facebook and Instagram to keep young people hooked on the platform with features such as infinite scrolling, the like button features, and many other aspects of the product design, and that they did all this well knowing that their products were harmful to young people. Now, Meta has strongly rejected those allegations, so this will of course now all play out in front of this court here in Oakland, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
The S&P 500 hit a record high in New York Wednesday after official figures showed US inflation fell slightly on an annual rate of 3.4% in July. The Consumer Price Index data matched market expectations, and core inflation, which strips out food and energy, came in at 2.5%. Slightly below forecasts. And the World Health Organization says the current Ebola outbreak is on track to be the deadliest ever. The Democratic Republic of Congo has been worst affected, with more than 4,000 cases reported. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at the growing realisation by America's competitors, and in some cases its enemies, that they can use economic choke points to concentrate minds in Washington. We are, of course, all still talking about Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz and its realisation that it has the capacity, never previously exercised, to upend the world's economy. Edward Fishman is an international relations scholar who previously worked at the US Defense, State and Treasury Departments, and says China may have started the trend in 2025 when it responded to President Trump's tariffs by putting restrictions on the export of its rare earths.
When China retaliated asymmetrically on April 4th, so 2 days after Liberation Day, and then within weeks you had Ford idle its factory for the Explorer SUV, it sent shockwaves across Washington, because the idea is that we have to basically have some level of detente with China until we can break this chokehold that China has over rare earths. So I think in many ways, China demonstrated to the world in 2025 that instead of just capitulating under American economic pressure, you can strike back using your own choke point and potentially leverage the fact that America may have less pain tolerance than an authoritarian country like China, and maybe end up in a better place.
He spoke to Foreign Policy magazine and thinks there are other potential choke points out there. We'll hear about those tomorrow.
The main news again. 2 major grain export terminals have been reportedly hit in a Ukrainian strike. The country's president says it's conducted a unique attack on a Russian Black Sea base. The World Health Organization says the current Ebola outbreak is on track to be the deadliest ever. The Democratic Republic of Congo has been worst affected, with more than 4,000 cases reported. And US President Donald Trump's announced that White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt will step down at the end of August. And that's the latest feature story news. William Denslow reporting.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, yes, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. So let's go ahead and start getting into it right away. So, some breaking news yesterday, in case you did not hear. Imagine this, being the former CEO of Disney, and you can't figure out what you want to do next. Maybe this is the path you go down. Former Disney CEO Bob Iger and Josh Kushner from Thrives Capital have agreed to buy controlling interest in the Los Angeles Lakers for a reported $12.5 billion, making it the highest valuation ever for a professional sports franchise. In a statement, the two said that they are honored to become the stewards of one of the world's most iconic teams and plan to build on the foundation established by Jerry and Gene Buss. The purchase comes just over a year after Mark Walter acquired control of the Lakers from the Buss family. Iger is no stranger to sports ownership, having also invested in the Angel City FC. The Lakers enter into a new era following the busy offseason that included LeBron James' move to the Philadelphia 76ers, with the 2026-2027 NBA season tipping off in October. So what do you think? What do you think about that? I mean, that's one hell of a transition. Let's just not lie here. You just went from a theme parkathon to all of a sudden changing it entirely into doing something where, you know, it's now sports team oriented. So here's some things here. Magic Johnson is giving his stamp of approval after the Los Angeles Lakers were reportedly sold for a record $12 billion to businessman Josh Kushner and former Disney CEO Bob Iger. The Lakers legend praised the new ownership group on social media, saying that it couldn't have been two better owners. Predicting that they'll bring championships back to Los Angeles. Current Lakers stars Luka Doncic, I think it is, also welcomed the change, saying that wearing the Lakers jersey means everything to him and that he's excited to work with the new owners to build something special. The sale comes 1 year after Mark Walter purchased the controlling interest of the franchise for then a record $10 billion. So in a year, you made $2.5 billion. Does not sound like a bad year whatsoever. So there you go. Do you think that this will have any impact on what's going on, or do you look at it from the standpoint of, it doesn't matter one way or the other? I'm just asking. Duh. It's just one of those strange questions, that's for sure. Okay, take a listen to this real quick. Luigi Mangione, the 28-year-old accused of fatally shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York in December of 2024, has requested a surprise federal court hearing for tomorrow, prompting speculations that the plea deal could be in the works. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to all charges, but legal observers note that the resolving the federal case could affect his separate state prosecution because of New York's double jeopardy laws. The expected hearing comes after earlier plea discussions reportedly failed, just days after the judge ruled that the jurors in a high-profile case will remain anonymous due to the intense public interest. Mangione's attorney has also indicated that they plan to pursue a psychiatric defense, arguing that he was extremely emotionally disturbed at the time of the alleged shooting. Jury selection had been scheduled to begin in September, but Friday's hearing could significantly alter the course of the case. So what do you think here? I mean, it's some interesting times. Like, okay, so let's talk about it. There is some video. I mean, we've kind of seen the beginning of the video, which of course they're not going to air on TV, and I don't blame them because I wouldn't air it either. But it becomes interesting in regards of what you see. And then this is different aspects. And I know innocent until proven guilty, but The tape kind of speaks for itself for the most part, so there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things real quick. Minnesota House Speaker Lisa Demu has won the Republican nomination for governor, defeating MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, who has been endorsed by President Trump. Lisa's campaign as the GOP candidate best positioned to win the statewide, focusing on tax cuts and reducing fraud in government programs. On the Democratic side, the U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar easily secured her party's nomination. The match makes history as as Lisa and Amy are first women ever nominated by the respective parties for Minnesota governor. The race is expected to be closely watched as Republicans look to win the governor's office for the first time since 2006, while Democrats defend their long-held grip on the statewide politics. So there you go. There you go. What do you think? I'm just asking the question. Now, it becomes an interesting one overall in regards to what's going to happen here. No doubt about it, because, politics will be the contention this year. Yeah, because it is, it's midterm. It's the midterm for what the hell's going on. Then we start getting into this crazy cycle again when it's all said and done. So take a listen to this. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has announced that she'll be leaving her post at the end of the month, saying that she wants to devote more time to her young family. Caroline, 28, is balancing one of the most demanding jobs in Washington while raising two small children, and made her realize that she couldn't give both roles the attention they deserved. In a statement, Leavitt called the decision bittersweet, explaining that after returning from maternity leave following the birth of her daughter in May, she felt like it was time to prioritize being the best mother she could be. President asked Leavitt to work. President praised her work, calling her one of the best press secretaries to serve in the role, and saying that she will remain a trusted outside advisor and influential voice within the Republican Party. So there you go. Are you happy to see her go? Sad to see her go? How do you feel about the whole thing? Does it have no impact on you whatsoever? I mean, I'll tell you, there's been quite a few press secretaries. It seems like over the years, you kind of take a look around and go, man, what a difference some of them have been in regards of one to the other and so on. So it gets pretty interesting as we are talking. Okay, take a listen to this. Chris Watts is serving multiple life sentences without parole for murdering his pregnant wife, Shannon, and their daughters, Bella and Celeste, in 2018. Has reportedly applied to marry a woman he met while in prison. According to reports, Watts is engaged to Lizzie Henderson, a former Ohio realtor who has since moved to Wisconsin to be closer to the maximum security prison where he's incarcerated. Henderson has reportedly filed paperwork to legally change her name to Lizzie Watts and confirmed their relationship, saying that how it began between me, him, and God. Watts pleaded guilty to killing his family after having an affair with a co-worker. He strangled Shannon before murdering the two kids' young daughters and disposing their bodies in an oil field where he worked. The case became one of the country's most notorious family murder cases. Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, there's quite a few documentary style things that you can find online in regards to this. So what do you think here? I mean, I guess people find love in all kinds of weird places, but I guess this will kind of fall into that category when it's all said and done. I mean, I don't know. It gets interesting, that's for sure, as we are talking. Okay, so take a listen to this one. The man accused of killing conservative commentator Charlie Kirk is asking Utah judge to remove the death penalty as a possible punishment before the trial begins. Tyler Robinson, 23, is charged with aggravated murder in the September 2025 shooting of Kirk during the Turning Point USA event at Utah Valley University. Prosecutors contend that Robinson fired from the top of the building, striking Kirk in the neck, and argue that the shooting endangered others nearby, an aggravated factor that makes the death penalty an option under Utah law. In a 41-page court filing, Robinson's attorney argued that prosecutors have failed to show that there was a probable cause for the aggravated factor. They say that the evidence doesn't prove that Robinson knowingly created a great risk of death to anyone besides Kirk. noting that only Kirk was shot. The defense argues that merely suggesting someone else could have been injured isn't enough. The state must show that there was a high probability that Robinson knowingly put others at risk. The filing is also challenging prosecutors' claim that Robinson targeted Kirk before his political views. Prosecutors have pointed to Robinson's relationship with his transgender roommate and the text message saying, "I have had enough of this hatred," as evidence of motive. Defense attorney encountered those facts don't prove Robinson's acted because of Kirk's views on the LGBTQ issues, and say that the state's argument is based on speculation rather than evidence. Robinson has not yet entered a plea. If the judge removes the aggravated factor, the death penalty would no longer be available if he's convicted. So what do you think here? Would love to hear what your thought process is in regards to this, because, hey, it's going to be an interesting one as it starts going down the pack. There is no doubt about that. So would love to hear what you have to say on callinradio.com. I will tell you. You go there, go ahead and put it inside of the screen arena there, and we'll go from there and figure out what's going on. What do you think?
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, two media organizations, the Freedom of the Press Foundation and The Intercept, have filed federal lawsuits against Donald Trump over the premium service called Trump API, which gives paying subscribers faster access to posts on top Truth Social's account, including the president's announcements. The service is aimed at institutional clients, particularly high-frequency trading firms. The cost between $60,000 and $100,000 per month. The idea is that the financial firms could receive potentially market-moving statements milliseconds before everyone else, giving them a trading advantage. The lawsuit argues that the arrangement is unconstitutional because it allows the president to financially benefit by selling quicker access to government information through a private company. The plaintiffs claim that it violates the First Amendment by denying equal access to presidential communication, and the Fifth Amendment by charging excessive fees for access to government information. The Intercept says that the program forces news organizations into unfair choice, either pay Trump's company to stay competitive on breaking news or risk falling behind rival outlets. The lawsuit seeks to stop exclusive government announcement from being distributed through the paid service, and it asks for the court to declare the program unconstitutional. Also named as defendant are senior Trump aides Natalie Harp and Dan Savino. So what do you think here? Do you think that there's a violation? I'm just asking because I always like to have somebody else's perspective on what the hell's going on. No, like seriously, I don't know. I look at it from the standpoint and go, yeah, it does sound kind of weird that you have to pay between $60,000 to $100,000 a month just to find out some things quicker. I mean, and somebody will sit there and argue for a moment. Well, that's a choice. You don't have to do that. You don't have to have it. I mean, and I get it. I get it for sure. But it gets interesting. No doubt about that one. So there you go. There you go. Let's talk about this one because somebody sent this in to me. So I wanted to make sure that I talked about it real quick. Yesterday on Live and Kelly with Mark, Kelly Ripa read an article about more men using makeup. She says that in 2022, about 15% of men, heterosexual men in the U.S. ages 18 to 65 are already using makeup. Here's what was said. Take a listen.
In 2022, about 15% of heterosexual men in the United States, ages 18 to 65, are already using cosmetics and makeup, while another 17% said they would consider it.
Okay, so why am I playing a clip about guys wearing makeup? Because here's my question. Guys, how many of you are using makeup and why? And ladies, what do you think about men who are using makeup? I'm just asking the question. Callinradio.com. I would love to hear what you have to say about it, because I always find it interesting to take a listen to what the hells that are going on inside of the world. So there you go. There you go. Okay, let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world. The world's slowest concert just hit a major milestone. Inside the medieval church in Germany, a rare chord change marked another step to performance of John Cage organs. As slow as possible that is scheduled to last 639 years. The concert officially began in 2001 with nearly a year and a half of silence before the first notes were heard in 2003. Yesterday, caretakers manually added the 8th organ pipe, creating the performance 17th chord and bringing the project to roughly 4% completion. More than 150 people packed the church to witness the subtle music shift, which many described as moving once-in-a-lifetime experience. The 639-year timeline honors the historic organ that was built in Germany between 1361. It took 639 years before the project began. The performance is set to conclude in September 4th of 2640, with the organizers selling inheritable tickets for the final. The next chord change appears in October of 2027, underscoring how slowly the piece unfolds and ensuring the generations of musicians and volunteers that will keep alive the long audience from today. Take a listen to this. There you go. You've waited a year and change to get that information. I'm just saying. Think about that for just a moment. So there you go. Okay, take a listen to this one real quick. A Texas woman says that a routine grocery purchase turned into a disgusting surprise after she opened a package of Charmin toilet paper bought at H-E-B store in Burleson. While unpacking the roll, she noticed that one of them had a gray stain, and she believed that it looked like mold and realized that she already used some of the package. Experts say the toilet paper doesn't technically expire, but it doesn't. But if it's exposed to moisture, mold can develop. While paper itself doesn't provide nutrients for mold to grow, contaminated rolls can trigger allergies or other health issues, especially for people with asthma and weakened immune system. TikTok commentators urged the woman to return the product to H-E-B and contact Procter & Gamble so the company could investigate the production batch. She later confirmed that she returned the toilet paper to the store through the unclear whether she contacted the manufacturer or not. Take a listen to what was said.
I can't make this up. I went to H-E-B, I think this Sunday. I went to H-E-B, got toilet paper. Something told me to check the toilet paper. Like, I already used one toilet roll, which is pissing me off. Something told me to check the toilet paper this morning. This is what I get. Look at that. That looks like mold. I'm so upset because I've already used. No.
Okay, hold on, because I got a question, because I need to understand this. Because she's like, hey, not sure if I should be using this, all this other stuff, or that I should be checking it. Wouldn't you normally check the toilet paper as you're pulling it? So imagine checking the ply that counts, finding a mold count. Nothing says quality control like mushrooms in a Charmin, and Charmin's slogan is enjoy the go, not discover the fungus. I don't know. It kind of gets kind of weird when it's all said and done when you start thinking about it. I am just saying. It gets very weird. That is for sure.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do this because it seems like it's time to do our main story. So let's go ahead and do that, right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so sometimes we need to have conversations about things that might make you feel comfortable, could make you feel uncomfortable, but definitely it's a conversation that needs to be had from time to time. And we need to have a very raw conversation about language of the system. And maybe that's what we need to focus on today. There's a word in linguistics called metonymy. And it's a mechanism where you take a name of a thing and replace it with the name of something closely associated with it. If a CEO wants to talk about the corporate executive, he says we need to consult the suits. If a reporter talks about the King of England, they say a statement from the Crown. And the suit replaces the man, and the crown replaces the king. Does this make sense so far? And it seems like a harmless shortcut, but a simple trick of language. But they're out there here on the blue line, Autonomy isn't just a figure of speech. It is the exact weapon that the cartel uses to hijack your reality. Decades ago, the system pulled off the ultimate sleight of hand, if one may put it that way. They took the brutal, unforgiving, low entropy of reality of keeping human beings alive in the territory, and they substituted it with the high entropy symbols of the map. Think about the language they force us inside of the construct to use. When they want to know if the site is surviving, what do they ask you? They ask for the clipboard. They ask for the audit. They ask for the metrics through the dark magic of corporate metonymy. They have made the paperwork completely synonymous with the protection of human life. But the clipboard is not survival. The audit is not presence. The metric is not the truth. When you substitute a symbol for reality, you are executing what I call the safety mutation. You are taking the raw conscious experience of the worker and holding it to the sharp end of the stick, and then you are grinding it down into a flat, dead, bureaucratic attraction. Philip K. Dick warned us about this in his exegesis. He wrote that any lying language that creates it at once in a single stroke, a pseudo-reality. When the cartel tells you that a completed checklist means that your people are protected, they are speaking a lying language. They are building the walls of the Black Iron prison right in front of your eyes. They are trapping your inside simulation with a way built of predictability, not the truth. And one of the most terrifying parts, the people inside of the system actually begin to believe the illusion. They forget that the real world exists outside the binder. Why does the construct do this? Why do they force you in this metonymy down your throat? Because reality is messy. The territory is full of friction, human variabilities, and human variables as well, and unpredictable chaos. That scares the executives at the boardroom. They cannot control the territory. They cannot build the map. They cannot measure the symbols. So they swap the reality out for the symbol to soothe down the anxiety. But operating on symbol generates massive amounts of high entropy garbage. Thomas Campbell and My Big Toe teaches us that high entropy systems break easily. The panic, they react blindly when your entire organization is focused on substitute symbols, chasing the green light on the dashboard instead of turning into actual subjective consciousness of the workers on the floor. You are drowning in noise. You are manufacturing high entropy loop that drains the energy out of your workforce until they give up and accept the simulation. To survive this, you have to break the linguistic spell. You have to lower the entropy. Bruce Lee understood the danger of getting trapped by names and symbols. In the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, he wrote that to truly understand combat, you ought to throw away all ideas, patterns, and styles. You have to embrace formlessness. He asked the question that should be painted on the wall in every industrial facility in the world. Can you look at the situation without naming it? Naming it, making it a word, causes fear. When you look at hazards on the blue line and you immediately name the compliance violation, you have already lost. You have let the cartel's language trigger a fear response. You have stopped looking at the actual physical reality, and you have started worrying about the symbol will look at the corporate audit. You are reacting to the name, not to the thing itself. We have to practice Jeet Kune Do on your own organizational culture. We have to hack away the unessentials, hack away the jargon, hack away the metonymy. If you want to protect the men and women on the blue line, like seriously protect them that are on the blue line, you have to drop the ego. Refuse to perform for the spreadsheet. Stop accepting the substitute. When they ask for the clipboard, give them the brutal truth of the territory. When they want the metric, give them the raw low entropy. So, do not let their lying language overwrite the reality. Stop reading their map. Step onto the blue line and transmit pure signal. I'm telling you, if you were to take these steps today and start focusing on them in the reality that you're in, inside of that workplace, things will change, not just somewhat, they will change dramatically inside of your organization, that people will be kind of scared in regards on how clear information is now.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month
and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Pop quiz hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
No, you don't have to twist my arm. You know that I'm satisfied. You ain't gotta twist my arm. And you know that I'm satisfied. Honey, there ain't no need preaching to the choir like that.
Okay, here we go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that. So this right here that you're taking a listen to, this is Sam Ryder. Song's titled HB. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. I would say go ahead and give it a little streamer-emer action, because it is definitely has a feel to it for sure. Yeah, a little softer side here going on the Rated R Safety Show. We would like to thank Sam Ryder for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So there you go. There you go. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse, no doubt about that, as we are hanging out. So let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. And this right here might be the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that is about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And we want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you'll see all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Take a look around on that website. There's so much information that can change things for you, depending on what you're taking a look at right there on the website, TWLOHA.com. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about this, because this seems to be the newest thing that we keep on talking about. Kind of a weird one, but we'll talk about it anyways. Florence Nightingale died on this day back in 1910. Herbert George died in 1946. Mickey Mantle, 1995. Julia Childs, 2004. Sandy Allen, the world's tallest woman, 7 feet 7 inches, 2008. Les Paul died in 2009. Johnny Persky died in 2012. And Nancy Griffith, the singer-songwriter, died in 2021. So there you go. There's some deaths that happened on this day. Not really a theme that I ever thought we would be talking about on this show. But I guess that's the thing. Let's do something a little bit more positive. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute. Seriously.
The Motivation Minute. courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Caleb. Mala Yosefazia said, "When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful." Yes, I've been that voice. I was on the board for a nonprofit in 2020 when the whole world was bonkers. We had to make some tough choices. We closed things down temporarily for just a few months, but we also signed up for some grants and some loans. When it was time to reopen, I was on this Zoom call for a board meeting, and the chairman of the board wanted to shut things down permanently. He suggested that we give the funds back and we close everything down. I let everybody else say their thing, and they came to the conclusion that that was the right thing to do. Then I chimed in with disagreement. I made my case, and one by one, they agreed to stay the course. And that nonprofit is still open today.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The Trump administration is planning at least $900 million in construction projects on White House grounds, according to records reported Wednesday.
The spending includes a $400 million ballroom and other modernization work, with money gathered from government agencies and private donors. A federal appeals court has ordered a halt to ballroom construction. The administration says the renovations are tied to security. Critics are questioning how the projects are being financed. Liam White reporting.
A Houthi missile attack on a ship off Yemen has killed 6 people, including 3 Pakistani nationals, raising fears of wider regional escalation.
Pakistan condemned Tuesday's strike in the Bab el-Mandeb, where another Pakistani was wounded. Officials warn renewed attacks could threaten commercial shipping and revive Yemen's long-dormant civil war, adding another dangerous front. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Ukraine says missiles and drones struck a major Russian naval base on the Black Sea during a nighttime operation described as unique.
President Volodymyr Zelensky says the attack hit air defenses, piers and port facilities at Novorossiysk. Kyiv says its drone campaign has limited Russia's naval movements in the Black Sea, while Moscow has not detailed damage. Lawrence Keller reporting.
David Crowley narrowly won Wisconsin's Democratic governor primary, setting up a November contest against Republican Congressman Tom Tiffany, a strong supporter of President Trump.
Crowley defeated progressive candidate Francesca Hong after a tight campaign. He now plans to build a broad coalition, while Tiffany must defend his record and ties to Trump, making Wisconsin an important test for both parties. Kyle Norris reporting.
Iran and the United States remain at odds over efforts to revive a ceasefire, with Tehran demanding Washington return to an earlier agreement.
An Iranian official says no extension talks are underway, while messages pass through Pakistan and Qatar. Disputes over the Strait of Hormuz continue to block progress toward a lasting settlement, keeping regional tensions high. Chris Anderson reporting.
Russia is threatening retaliation against European countries that seize Russian merchant ships, escalating a dispute over sanctions and maritime enforcement.
President Vladimir Putin says Moscow could respond wherever it considers necessary, while Russia's Pacific Fleet says it can detain foreign vessels. European governments are considering tougher action against suspected sanctions evaders, increasing risks for shipping. Gary Beck reporting.
U.S. inflation eased slightly in July, but prices continued rising faster than average wages, leaving households facing pressure on everyday expenses.
Consumer prices rose 3.4% from a year earlier, while monthly inflation was 0.1%. Gas and grocery costs fell, but airfares, computers, and used vehicles became more expensive, keeping pressure on household budgets nationwide. Jessica Oakley reporting.
President Donald Trump says security officials moved him from Air Force One to another aircraft in Turkey because of a threat linked to Iran.
Trump confirmed Tuesday that the unusual flight switch occurred during last month's NATO summit. He said he was not frightened, while the security operation kept the threat secret for weeks until the disclosure became public. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large gas X pills?
God, what's that awful stench? Radio.
Okay, so there you go. 53 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's go ahead and get you through the mix here, if you do not mind. Let's start talking about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1907, the first taxi cab appears in New York City. In 1971, Paul and Linda McCartney released The Backseat of My Car. In 1977, the first test glide of the shuttle. And let's see, in 1988, Ronald J. Dussenbach sets the world record for pedaling across Canada from Vancouver, BC to Halifax, NS in 13 days, 15 hours, and 4 minutes. In 1989, the U.S. space shuttle STS-28 lands. In 2004, Julia Childs, chef and author, died. In 2016, swimmer Michael Phelps ends his career at Rio Olympics as part of the winning of the 4x100 medley relay, his record of 23 gold medals. That all happened back on the dates that I referenced. So there you go. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Kevin Teige turns 82. Paul Greengrass turns 71. Danny Bonaducci turns 67. And Queen Cummings. Yes, Queen Cummings turns 59 today. So there you go. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over exclusively to Radio Big for the next couple hours or so. If you want to come and hang out with me, would love to see you over there. It'll be a good time as we talk about the world of music and entertainment, because that's what we do over there. Outside of that, if you don't want to go over there to radiobig.fm, you can hang out right here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. That's what we'll be doing here on Safety FM. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know real quick. Inflation cooled slightly in July, offering some welcome news for consumers. Prices were up 3.4% compared to a year ago, down from 3.5% in June, while monthly inflation rose just 0.1%. Core inflation, which strips out food, energy prices, also eased to 2.5%, a sign that the underlying price pressures are continuing to moderate. So there you go. Also, President Trump declined to rule out declaring national emergency to push for stricter federal elections if Congress doesn't pass the Save America Act. During an interview, Trump was asked if using the emergency powers to require proof of citizenship for voters, registration, photo ID at the polls, and limits the mail-in voting rather than dismissing the idea. He responded, stranger things have happened, but did not say whether he would actually pursue such a move. The Save America Act has begun a major priority for presidents. Through it faces uncertain future in the Senate. So there you go. What else do we got? Roger Federer is no longer officially a billionaire after he shares his Swiss sports company on holding took a sharp hit. The retired tennis legend estimated net worth has fallen from $1.1 billion to roughly $952 million after the company's stock dropped around 19% following a weaker than expected sales guidance. Federer's fortune skyrocketed after he acquired the minority ownership of the stake in 2019. A deal that proved that far more lucrative than a traditional endorsement contract. He also helped develop the company's popular The Roger sneaker line, making the investment one of the most successful athlete-business partnerships in sports. Even with the recent decline, Federer remains the wealthiest athlete in the world to decades of prize money, endorsements, and business ventures, including major deals with brands like Rolex. So there you go. Also, here's last night's winning numbers for the jackpot for $1 billion. It was 4, 26, 66, 67, 69. Powerball was 9. Power Play was 2. Since there was no winner Saturday's, Saturday's jackpot drops to $20 million. So hopefully you're sitting on that ticket, having a good time, that's for sure. Anyways, that's going to end our time together for the most part. Here's some words of wisdom for today. He that lieth down with dogs shall rise with fleas. There you go. And if you need some advice for today, use WD-40 to remove crayon from anything, as well as scuffs from ceramic and from wood floors. So there you go. And if you need some weird facts for today, a giraffe can lick its own ear with a tongue that can grow 20 inches long. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum it up. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
You're preaching